Hello and welcome everybody to another Company of Heroes broadcast, joining a little bit late. It's not really a problem considering this is a very long map. We've got Ekenbro Delcore here, playing as the Soviet Union versus Baker and RPG, both playing as the Oberkommando West. So really quickly we can see that this particular map, an old classic from Company of Heroes 1, has all of the valuable resources in the dead center of the map, so the combat will take place primarily there.
Introductions?
Yes?
Did you introduce us?
Oh yes, and I am of course joined by Tyrus Barackis and Jack the Ripper.
What's up?
So the combat here has already begun. We've got Storm Pioneers supported by Kubelwagen charging at these Soviet conscripts, making sure they don't capture this victory point here. Good move on their
Ekenbro looks
part
like he's doing his damnedest to take those first victory points. So you can just, push through them real quick and keep moving up to create a new front.
Yeah, it looks like they're both focusing together on taking one specific point. The strategy I recommended on the last match they played.
Looks like our first engagement's happening on the right side and center of the map here. Soviets, Delcore's, looks like he's taking on Baker. Baker's just trying to push up desperately.
I think he might be a little bit. I think he might be a little bit behind because at this point the combat has already ended for us here, and the Germans have claimed victory. They've taken this victory point, or they are about to. The Soviets at this point have
pushing back now by the looks of it. Baker has managed to take the victory point.
They do have a Kubelwagen this time around, which is of course a fantastic weapon, a machine gun on wheels that has great mobility and does a good job at suppressing units. Unfortunately,
yeah,
unlike
definitely
other
doing a good job at mopping up the Soviet resistance left on that victory point.
Although it's kind of risky to move it forward here because it is very vulnerable as well.
Indeed. Looks like, oh, nope, never mind. Soviets are not going to go for another push-up just yet on the right flank.
Oh no, looks like they are. They got a machine gun that they're setting up there as well as a conscript squad. Of course, the machine gun has a very small angle, so that these Storm Pioneers are going to be able to just flank around and do a lot of damage to them. Oh, they gotta move them, but they don't move them. Why aren't they moving them? Oh, the Soviets do an interesting thing here. This is a tactic I don't often see. Conscripts are actually able to merge with any weapons team or any other squad. So in this case, the machine gun was almost out of crew members. The conscript squad just merged with the machine gun and replaced all of its dead crew members. Good move.
Definitely a good tactic on his part. Looks like now he's starting to mop up the German infantry in between them. Soviets definitely starting to take him out here.
Oh, dude, the Soviets are going so machine gun heavy on this map. They've got 3 machine guns that they're all laying down fire onto this position here. The Germans are, of course, still holding on.
He's holding on desperately like at the end of the Second World War. But unfortunately, that in itself is not going to be enough for them to here today.
Of course, the Germans do have one key advantage here. They are on the defensive, and they have 2 battle group headquarters here. These, of course, can heal units and reinforce losses, so it's going to be very useful for them on the defensive here.
Yeah, meanwhile, the rest of the Soviets are going to be doing their best to take up the victory points in the surrounding area, as Ekenbro just did a second ago. Oh,
the conscripts are going to try and get rid of this Kubelwagen here, which, of course, they throw a Molotov at it, doing a lot of damage to it, and the engineers there.
Definitely not giving them an opportunity to take the situation back.
Soviets also have a mortar in position here to try and shell the defenders. It's going to be very useful, most likely. If the Soviets can take this house over here, on the left-hand flank near the victory point there, it's going to be a very good machine gun spot, as it can overlook the entire area. But it looks like the Germans have a machine gun of their own.
Yep.
Now, the German machine gun, however, is superior to the Soviet machine gun, except for the fact that it has less squad members, so it's a little bit more fragile.
Yeah, but that lack of squad members also makes it less likely to be hit by some enemy ordnance, as well as definitely giving you a good shot.
Oh, look at what the Soviets are doing. They're actually laying down a smoke barrage on that house to make sure that machine gun can't see anything. An interesting move.
Definitely interesting move. It looks like the right flank now is still taking quite a bit of fire. Soviets still got their vehicle up, and it looks to be fairly well prepared. Oh, but that artillery just barely missed them.
Oof. They need to get rid of that mortar. Otherwise, these machine guns that the Germans have are going to fall prey to non-stop barrages.
It's raining bombs. Holy shit, man, it's raining bombs. And speaking of raining bombs, it looks like the German vehicle has just been hit and is pushing back. They cannot take that artillery fire.
We are hitting the 6-minute mark now, and it looks like this building has crumbled. That's pretty quick for that building, but the fact that this building has also been destroyed is an advantage to the Germans because the Soviets can no longer use it as they were probably planning on.
Most definitely. That long game is definitely going to help the Germans here if they can continue to hold these lines.
But it's going to be hard for them to hold it.
Behind you guys.
Most definitely.
If you're behind, go ahead and speed up the broadcast. They throw a grenade at that Kugelwagen, but it does narrowly survive that hit. This conscript squad, though, just barely makes it out alive.
I got this already on 8X.
Barely. And just... wait. This machine gun's gonna probably go down. Nice shooting, shooting. Despite the fact that the Germans are holding, they're taking catastrophic losses here.
Yeah, they are not doing their best to hold up those lines. Looks like they're being pushed back as we speak.
This time around, the Germans actually have some anti-tank, although, ironically, this time they might not even need it, because this match might be over before they have a chance to even field any vehicles of their own. Although Panzerschrecks are still pretty good at destroying cover and, of course, buildings and the like, so it's not a complete waste. Oh, that mortar just finished off that squad there.
Most definitely.
I believe that was an officer they just lost.
Ooh, that does not look
another
like
painful mortar hit. 3 losses there.
yeah, those mortars are just tearing their asses apart. They got to be doing something. They got to be planning something to
the
deal
mortar
with
so
that.
far
Otherwise,
has
they're gonna
21 kills. That's ridiculous.
Most definitely.
These shock troops are finding themselves in a very dangerous position here. They run away, but will they be able to actually escape? Looks like they are. Now the Soviets, of course, are starting to run out of steam as well, but the Germans don't really have much in the way of defenses either. These mortars, there's 2 of them now, are just barraging the hell out of this German defensive infantry here.
Yeah, the Germans' best bet at this point is to push up and risk taking out the mortars, or otherwise they're going to just continue getting barraged here, and they're not going to be able to keep up their numbers.
2 well-placed grenades take out another machine gun, and now the machine guns are gone. These mortars are completely undefended. Oh, that's not true. There's still 1 more machine gun that's barely operational, and they're actually bringing in another machine gun and more engineers, so the Soviets are doing a pretty good job of defending these mortars of theirs.
Yeah, but it looks like that German vehicle is just doing its best to mow down what's left of the infantry near the mortar. Or actually on the mortars.
But of course, Soviet crews are more durable because of their increased manpower amount. Like, they got 6 for a crew, whereas the other factions generally have 4. So that's really helping them out here. Otherwise, they probably would have already gone down.
Most definitely. They are still doing their best to desperately hold out, but that morale does not look like it's doing as well as it could.
More hits coming down on the German defenses here. That machine gun's going to have to retreat, or it's going to face destruction.
Yeah, Germans and Soviets look like they're doing best to hold the front line. Somebody's eventually got to give with the way this fighting's going on.
And the fact of the matter is, despite the fact that the Germans have a trench to their advantage here, it's not going to help them against these machine guns and these mortars and all this fire they're taking.
Yes, most definitely.
They need to get some counter-artillery of their own, maybe a light howitzer or something, just anything to, you know, counter-barrage this shit.
Yeah, those mortars are not letting up, and they're really the only thing still keeping the Soviets on this line right now.
If it weren't for these mortars, the Soviets would have been pushed out here quite a while ago already.
Most definitely.
Soviets got themselves an AT gun that they're bringing into the battle. Whether or not that's going to be useful, well, we'll see.
If they manage to plant a shot on that German vehicle, it looks like they could definitely pull something out here.
Yeah, that German vehicle's actually got 21 kills under his belt, so it's actually a pretty valuable contributor here.
Most definitely.
But
surprisingly enough,
it might go down pretty quickly, though.
Yeah, it is definitely taking a lot more machine gun fire. It looks like it's going to push back now for repairs. Oh, the Germans are pushing back now. That mortar is just not giving up for them. Molotovs are being deployed by Delcore and the crew.
Looks like the Germans
in Russia,
are actually
they do not give a flying fuck about your retreat.
Looks like the Germans are also taking a munitions point on the left-hand flank to maybe get themselves a few more grenades, a few more weapons, just, you know, a little edge there. Maybe deprive the Soviets of some of their own resources. Not a bad move.
Yeah, definitely a good sneaky approach while the main fighting is going on.
Fallschirmjäger are going to try and take out this mortar, but they don't succeed. Too many defenses force them to run.
And another victory point is captured by the Germans on the left-hand flank as the main fighting continues to pound.
Oh, that's
on
not
the
a
right.
victory point. That's just a munitions point that they took.
Oh, yeah, my mistake.
There. But I think at this point, resources are more important than victory points to them. I know that they risk losing by victory points, of course, but at this point they need concrete things that will help them fight, as opposed to, you know, victory points. They do actually have a Schwerpanzer HQ set up already, so this fuel point that they have is pretty safe for the time being.
Most definitely, and that front line is just not giving any ground. Soviets don't want to let the Germans take a chance here.
They forced them pretty much out of the trenches there with all those grenades.
And that Panzer headquarters is just pounding on the Soviets right now. Looks like they're managing to hold the line thanks to that Panzer.
Ooh. I think maybe that AT gun's actually meant for the headquarters buildings that the Germans have set up here, not for the actual little jeep that they have.
Oh!
Oh, now it looks like the Germans are capturing the victory point on the left-hand flank, trying to maybe shift the attention of the Soviets. The Soviets got themselves that Zis gun, which of course doubles as an artillery weapon. The Germans need some artillery of their own to counter that stuff, but they're just not getting anything.
Yeah, but definitely taking
trench.
this strategy of doing
trench.
these sneak lanes are definitely going to help them out right now, because they are desperately going to need to maintain that line on the front to prevent them from
Yeah, but take a look
really
at this trench at this point. It's taken so much fire that at this point it's barely a trench anymore.
Yeah, but it looks like the Germans are doing their best to secure that position as long as they can. Meanwhile, they snipe out the victory points from the side.
That machine gun on the right is almost going to go down there. It's got 2 crew members left. It's been pinned down. Oh, but the AT gun is trying to take out the Jeep. Might be able to take it out in a single shot if it actually hits.
Oh, that was a close shot. But no dice.
Oh, it hit.
Oh,
surprisingly,
speaking of no
surprised,
dice,
though.
that hit looks like it's taking the Jeep out for now. Oh, and the German infantry is pushing up on the left of the line here.
But at this
Trying
point,
to protect that Jeep.
the trench that they're using is more a detriment to them than an assistance, because it allows their units to be corralled into an area where artillery is just going to decimate them. Look at this.